All right. I am Willow Grace Mystic and super excited to be having a divine discussion with Rachel Galbreath from Palmistry Elementals. I think it's called Intention.
Yeah, Rachel G. Palmistry Elemental Intentions. Yeah, I
Great.
know it's a huge long name, but I'm trying to take my arts and crafts and kind of blend it together with my palmistry. So it's, yeah.
Totally get it.
Maybe.
I totally get it. Bring it all together. Bring it all
Yeah.
together. So I've
No.
dabbled myself in it, and I'm hoping that anybody who has any questions or comments will like, thumbs up, share with other people to let's support local. And in this time, we can still connect each other with FaceTime and Zoom. And
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit of palmistry. So
All right, let's do it.
how long have you been doing this?
Since I was 15, and I'm
Oh,
48.
oh,
So 33 years. Yeah.
33. Okay, awesome. I mean, I've dabbled. I have books on it. I tried. I get a few things, like I understand some of the lines and some of the, like the fingers. Give me, tell me a little bit about what's the first thing that you look at?
I like to start off my readings with, I think it's very, very important with my method, right?
Yeah,
The way
yeah, I
I
want to
do.
hear your method. Yeah.
I focus on the overall shape of the hand. I think that it's very, very important because that's the one thing about you that's really not going to change. The length of your fingers,
Right.
the actual shape of the palm itself. I mean, you may lose weight, you may gain weight, so the width of them and etc. and the give will obviously change throughout your life. But the actual shape, the outside
Right.
parameters of it and the dimensions of this to this are always going to remain. And if you identify what type you are versus, and there are also crosses between the four
Right.
types:
Yes.
earth, wind, water, fire. So earth, wind, water, fire, obviously for each major element, right?
Right.
And they,
I used
they
to
each
take, I
have,
used to ask friends to take pictures of their hands so I could, when I was
yes.
practicing, and it just didn't stick for me. I mean, like, I always looked at the skin texture first, and then I looked at the
Mm-hmm,
shape and the hands. So do you
mm-hmm.
have like folders of it? Do you have, or no, you're just past all that? Past all
I'm
that.
past
There you
all that.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, no, actually, I follow a really kind of strange. Well, I'm really into philosophy,
Yeah.
superbly into philosophy, right?
Yes.
I am a philosophy junkie, we'll say. And when I was actually going to be a philosophy major at one point until my dad put his foot down and oddly said, "No, you're an artist, go to art school." And I'm like,
Oh.
philosophy, art school? They're both kind of strange, Dad,
Yeah.
So, but I, through all that, was introduced to Aristotle,
Yeah.
okay? And Aristotle was really huge into palmistry, and a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of, Western philosophy, they don't like to talk about Aristotle and palmistry. But he did diagrams, he did all kinds of things. He had his own way of doing it, and he wrote many a treatise, meaning, books and
Yeah.
all different kinds of research on it. And historically, I used the method that was used by Alexander the Great. He had palm readers come in and read the hands of his troops before they would go into battle to see how they would respond when under duress, if
That's
they were going
smart.
to fight or flight,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Because at that point in time, he was such a believer in it. So the way I do it is much more of I put this soul reading
Yeah.
kind of thing. And that's where it differs. You hear my cat going crazy. She knows. She's like,
It's
ah!
okay. My dog's at my feet.
But so with it, it's a little bit different than tarot. Not a little bit. I'll say it's complete black and white with tarot, right? Because with tarot, you just, you shuffle the cards. The cards go out on the table, and then once you're done reading the client, everything gets put back into the deck, and they leave the room. But when in palmistry and the type of readings that I do, you can't change your hand. You're walking out of that room, the client's walking out of the room with what they came in with, which is
Okay.
their hand.
Right.
So
That's interesting. Yeah, because
it's
I look at I look at tarot and I use astrology with it. And then the
mhm,
hand has a lot of the astrology
mhm,
with it
mhm,
also. Okay.
mhm.
I'm seeing where you're coming from. Okay.
Yeah. So with that, it's much more intense.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes me the bad guy. I am, I'll just say it. A lot of clients cry, and it's weird because it's just, I don't know, they cry. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing, but we all need a release.
Yeah.
We all need a release. And as you are a reader and a helper and a psychic, you know that that's what we're here to do, is to help people if we can. So as a soul reader, as I like to call my type of palmistry, sometimes you get to hear those things that you don't, those truths that you're uncomfortable with hearing.
Yeah.
And when I was in New York City, everybody was like, "Oh, read my palm," right? And then
Yeah.
I moved back here to Ohio, and everybody's like, "Read my cards, read my cards."
Really?
Yeah,
I
and I'm
have
like,
people who say, "Hey, read my palms," and the only thing that I can like quickly look at is the skin to tell them a little
mm-hmm,
bit about their personality, and the thumb with will and
mm-hmm,
drive,
mm-hmm.
and some of the lines. Yeah. So,
There's
wow,
my cat.
really? Hey,
There's my
kitty.
cat patting.
So after you look at the actual hand, because the
mm-hmm,
hand will tell you, like the four elements we talked about. I throw that
mm-hmm.
back in with astrology or tarot, and then astrology is huge with the hand, like with
Yes.
the locations of.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I like to focus on is not just the astrological aspects, but I like
Right.
to talk about the attributes of the gods and goddesses on the hand.
Yes. Yes.
So each finger stands for a god or goddess.
Right.
Different areas or planes of the hand stand for
Right.
different gods and goddesses, and their attributes are applied to that type of hand that you have. You
Right.
understand?
I
So
do.
it's
I
like,
do. Yeah, because I tried to make it into a story for myself. Like the pointer, me,
mm-hmm,
who does that. Yeah. Okay, keep
yeah.
going. I agree with you. Yeah.
So I don't really focus on the type of skin. I really, really focus on the give of the hand.
Yes.
Any type of calluses,
Right.
paper cuts, things of that nature, and where they fall on the hand
Right.
is kind of like a wake-up call to say, hello, we got to work on this right now,
Right.
because then you go into the Hindu side of
Mm-hmm.
my beliefs, whereas, everything happens for a reason. So you also have, in how I do my readings, the right side, if you are right-handed, I'm right-handed, is your current life, and
Right.
your left hand is your past life. Now, in several cultures across the globe, it's completely different.
Right.
Um,
Right. I do the
even
same way as you. Yeah, the right and the left.
Yeah.
And then unless they're
So,
left-handed, and that just throws
and then it flips it
flips it
around. Yeah.
around.
Yeah. So, like with are you familiar with palmistry? Like different forms of it, like different
You know what?
cultures?
I tried, and then I decided it was way too much so I just picked one and just said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is because the Hindu, everything was completely different. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree, but I believe I couldn't mesh them together. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. And I've had people come to me and ask, hey, teach a class, do this, right? Or
Right,
what
right,
should I read? And I'm like, I really don't, after doing this for 33 years, I think that it's what you're called to read, or what direction you are called and attracted to, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to touch your soul and bring your intuition out
I agree.
to its
I mean, I tried
potential.
really hard. I really tried hard, and then it was not ease and grace. So I thought, okay, because I had an aunt who was amazing at it, and it just flowed with her, and I just couldn't remember things. And then so now I dabble, but then I go to people like you to say, okay, hey, let's confirm some of these things that I'm thinking about, or, you know, when my kids were younger, or husband, you know, friends.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people they'll come up, they'll put their hand out, and I look at, do you look at rings where they keep?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. People do not think about that, but I look at, okay, what finger are you keeping the ring on, and what is the purpose of the ring being on that finger?
And even what stone.
Right.
What rings on what hand, what fingers, and what stones are used, what colors, etc. We go into all the chakras. We go into the symbolism behind that particular stone and where it's placed, like if it be on Mercury,
right,
which, you know, we want to be about communication, etc. Right?
Air.
Very black and white, basic communication. And you'll find a lot of blue stones, just a natural instinct to have a lot of blue stones that I've come across to be on either Apollo or on Mercury. Apollo's the ring finger and Mercury's the pinky. And I think that that's like, you know, like sodalite and lapis.
Or some people
and things
who
like that.
change their rings often, and then some people who do not. When I'm very not just earthy, but I'm fire. But like when I get something, I wear it for a very long time, and then when I'm done, get it gone, new, crazy. You know, find a new ring, and I have a ton of rings, jewelry, earrings. Same thing. And then it's like, okay, I'm done with you. And then it doesn't make sense to me, but then I know it makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's that inner self, as I like to call it, that is so important in palmistry, because that's what the type that I do, that soul reading, is more about that inner self. And that's why it's uncomfortable for some people to hear what that inner self really needs from the outer cognitive self.
You know, so talk to people about how to boost parts of themselves by putting a ring on a specific finger or on a thumb, or because I believe in that, you know, that could help or boost or, you know, foster.
Absolutely. And I wasn't going to do this, but do you see this ring right here? Look at my hands, first off. Right? I got a lot going on. But, you know, I've had a lot of recurring dreams. I have a lot of past life stuff. And if you notice, I have most of my rings on my left hand. Now, with me, which is my past life. So with me, there's a part of me for my current life, right? Because think of the hand that you write with as almost like a wand. Like you're drawing your energy in your current life, right? So all these different situations that are locked on your past life are locked on your energy because you've experienced it, but it's this thing that you can't fully recognize. You know what I mean? It isn't like you can sit back and go, oh, I like, you know, I used this phone 2 lifetimes ago. You can't do that.
No.
Instead, you're drawn to a phone and you like the color, you know, teal and pink, and you don't really know why. Well, maybe that was the best phone you ever had 2 lifetimes ago, and now you're just like connected to it in some way. So there's these preferences that come into your current life that are caused as a result of situations from your past life. And I always like to point that out with clients, especially if they are in sticky situations, we'll say, you know, because there are a lot of ruts that people get into. And in palmistry, I think it really allows you to see, especially in relationships, whether it be business or personal, as to why you are
Right.
attracting a type, or why you're in the situation that you are currently in. And sometimes those are truths that are really, really heavy in comparison to tarot, which is more like, this is the situation, this is what's happening, and this is how it's going to end. It's very like black and white, and then you, as I said, you just put the cards back and that's it. So.
Right. I know. I like that explanation, because I do believe that we have past lives that we have lessons, and sometimes we remember some of it and sometimes we do not. I had Jeannie Brooks, Willow Wise Woman, and she was talking about healing the fractured self through a shamanic journey, and that sometimes is fixed. And I'm going to have Barb Costello from, I think it's Gypsy Soul something. She does past life regressions, and she would really
wonderful.
like, the three of us should probably have a little chit chat like this, because she has done that's what she does. And
wow.
I've gone to I've done it with her a few times, and it explains, and then sometimes things stop. You quit wearing the jewelry, you quit doing a specific behavior, and the hand does not change, but your lessons then continue on.
Well, another thing that a lot of people don't know, and given the fact I've had repeat clients and I've been able to see this over like 3 decades, is that the lines, not the deep 3 trifecta lines, but the minor lines change every 6 weeks to 2 months.
Right.
And so some people are like, well, I had my palm read, now what? And then they just walk out, and I'm like,
Right.
No.
Right.
And so I actually suggest for people to make a journal, make sure it's a water-based ink pad, but to actually take a hand stamp of handprint, other hand. Right. So you can say, hey, wait, this line's bending, this line's curving, that one's gone, this is new.
Or connecting to another, or No, I could probably sit and talk with you forever about this. Yes. And that's where I was trying to make like a binder of over time, and then I asked friends for close-ups. But then, so I had some people who said, yeah, go right ahead. And then other people were, that's like a picture into my soul. I don't know how comfortable I am, because you keep it forever, which I respect. And I say, learning it, I'm using it to learn from, and, would never abuse. That's like, doing somebody's birth or natal chart. You're giving them a window. And I always tell people whenever I'm doing tarot, astrology, Reiki, anything, that first, thank you, sacred space, and never to be used inappropriately. I do believe in the karma swing back around thing.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Well, I'm loving this conversation. So where can people reach out to you? Where can we find you? Like Facebook?
Well, on my Facebook. It is possible to do palm readings online. You can just literally go like that.
I have had that, where I've actually had, I had my husband take pictures, and then I sent them so they could blow it up bigger. And so keep going.
So it is possible to actually do that on my Facebook page. I also have my actual website, which is elementalintentions.com.
And you'll add it in the link when we're done?
Oh, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
And also, I posted within the event. It was scheduled to post, and I know this isn't actually going to be live, but it's probably still posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
That if you go to my website and you use the coupon code Divine2020, you'll get 25% off one of my readings. I offer palm, Lenormand, and tarot. But really, I like to mishmash a little bit of everything in a
Yeah.
reading because it covers all bases.
Yeah, I say whatever spirit calls me. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like what I was going to say about this ring on my pinky today. That belonged to, obviously, this is Mercury,
Yeah.
communication, right? As
Yeah.
I said. But this ring was given to me after my great uncle Buster passed away, and he was a World War II vet.
Right.
And he was in the CCB 9th Armored Tank Division. And why I'm bringing this up is because I had a dream about him last night before all this. And I went to bed thinking about what I was going to talk about today. And through that, I knew I have to wear Uncle Buster's ring. And I
Right.
have to put it on my communication finger.
Mercury finger. Yeah, communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And because he was one of the literal expendables of World War II. The 9th Armored Tank Division would be the ones that were sent out to the front lines to kind of be, I put this, the lab rat.
Yeah.
All the ammunition would be spent on them while the Allied troops were going in somewhere else. So he was a mere part of a fraction of the amount of soldiers that survived all of that, all of World War II. And this was his ring that was given to him, and he was heavily awarded and everything. And he came to me in my dream, and I was like, Uncle Buster. Yeah.
Give him a little bit of honor. Good for you.
That's right.
Good
That's
for you.
right.
All right. So people can reach out to you, and
Absolutely.
there'll be a coupon. And
Divine 2020.
Divine
2020.
2020. And to reach me, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and willowgracemystic.com. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do at least twice a month with the moon and other events that are coming up. I think that's it, right? Like I really want people to make sure that they reach back out to you, because in this time of social distancing, we can still share. We can still reach out and connect with each other, and it'll give me not only me, but give people a sense of staying connected. And
right. If I may, Patty.
Yeah.
It actually, last night, as I said, I was thinking a lot about this. And I've been seeing a lot of things on Facebook. We all have, right? Because that's one of the things, that's our go-to, right? One of our coping skills.
Yeah.
And I just want to add that we can't lose ourselves in all of this. We all have our own situations that we were dealing with up until the point of where we've had to social isolate and, quarantine, so to speak. And all those things are taking precedence. But in the background, we still have all of that inner conflict, those struggles, etc., that we're trying to squash down. Right. And you can only keep all that stuff in a container for so long before that container starts to crack, or that lid starts to pop off a little bit, like rising dough, it just starts to rise out. And you got to make something with it. Yeah. You have to. You can't lose your individuality, which is also why I like to do live readings through my website, through my Facebook page.
So that way you get communication with them. Oh, that's right. So you can do it through Zoom and through FaceTime. We should also add that on there.
Well, I don't do FaceTime, actually. I just do the Facebook live through the Facebook page because, well, obviously Zoom and Facebook sometimes don't.
Yep, they're not. Yep.
Yeah.
Got that.
So there's that. Yeah, but that's...
All right. So that way I want people to stay connected with you. And we are going to be doing a holistic health and psychic fair. I'm hoping in June that it's going to be swinging back around.
Cross our fingers, right?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because if not, then I don't know, July. I'm feeling good about the one in June, but I don't know yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So I will send people your way, and you're going to make sure that you put your links and stuff down below. And don't forget they should ask for the Divine 2020 25% off. Coupon
Right.
code.
On elemental.com. Elementalintentions.com. I can't even remember my own
okay.
address.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you spending time with me, and then let's do this again soon. All righty.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
asking me.
Maybe we'll check out my poems and see what they've got to
Oh,
say.
I already know a couple things. Just
I
by showing
cannot
me, I
wait to
already know a
hear.
couple things.
All right. I'll
I
see you
won't do
later.
it like this, though, but I'll tell you.
All right. I heart you.
Oh, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.